Aurelia coming to you with a video today. You see the title. It says, I got this thing in front of me and I'm trying to move it, but I can't. But anyway, you see the title, Federal Moratorium on Evictions, is it constitutional? So last week, and I know I may be a little late to the party, but last week a federal judge in Texas said that the federal moratorium on evictions for tenants, because of course homeowners don't get evicted, or should I say those who hold a mortgage, he was primarily talking about evictions, and said that it was unconstitutional, and that that the federal government should have no say in the whole matter. Even with everything going on, with those still being affected by COVID and the pandemic, and of course this moratorium falls under the CDC, and so the federal judge talked about they shouldn't have any involvement. And so this video is really not to talk about what's right, what's wrong. Of course, have some type of care and reverence for those who do need to take part in that, in the moratorium. Of course, on the flip side, you have those who are mortgage holders, or should I say not mortgage holders, but those who pay mortgages, and they may have a home and they're renting it out. Of course, if the mortgage is backed by Freddie and Fannie Mae or FHA, there was a moratorium on those as well. And so this video is not really to talk about right or wrong, but it's really to give people another perspective of conversations that are going on that may not be in your circle. And what do I mean by that? At the end of the day, this is not to take away from those who are affected, but understand this. I'm in a part of a real estate group where buying real estate notes. What does that mean for those who don't know? It is the ability, hey, how you doing, Claude? It is the ability to buy the mortgage paper of those who go out and get a mortgage. Individuals just like me have that opportunity, where, and as well as those who are watching, where you can purchase the paper of a particular real estate property. This space is not just for hedge funds. Of course, hedge funds kind of lead the charge because they can buy things in bulk, and they don't cherry pick like someone like myself. But understand that even a person like me can be part of the conversation. I mean, be part of this wealth generating opportunity. And of course, it's not widely talked about, because most of the time when we think about real estate, we think about a hard asset. We think about, buying a home. And if we're not using cash and we go out and get a mortgage, we know that there's a bank, so-called a bank, that holds the mortgage. But a lot of times the bank may be the servicer, but then there's an investor who owns the paper. And that part of the conversation, a lot of people are not familiar with. Going back to what I said, understanding the conversations that are going on. Whenever this moratorium is over, for the tenants who were unable to pay their rent, what is that going to look like? We're now going into the month of March, and depending on where you are in your part of the country, I know here in the Northeast, New York and New Jersey was like one of the first states that did the shutdown, where everything was shut down. Tenants no longer had to pay their mortgage. It's now a year later. What is that going to look like? Because if I haven't paid my mortgage in a year and the moratorium expires, not sure if it'll expire in March this month or next month, but what is it going to look like? When I say what is it going to look like, meaning, am I going to have to pay a whole year's worth of rent? Are those the expectations that my landlord may have? How about this? How about if I was a homeowner who had a mortgage backed by Freddie Mae, Fannie Mac, FHA, and I was given a moratorium where I didn't have to pay my mortgage? What is that going to look like? Once the moratorium has expired, am I going to have to pay a whole year's worth of payments to the bank? Well, let me share something with you. Right now, there are investors who are looking for opportunities. And so this video is not to talk about, is a federal moratorium right? Is it wrong? Does it help people? Do it not help people? Someone has did a video on about that. I'm not going to talk about that. What I'm going to address is understand the importance that opportunities are coming down the pipeline. And however you want to perceive it, whether it's wrong or whether it's right, somebody is going to build wealth off that opportunity. Because as I was saying a few minutes ago, in many of the circles of those investors who invest in mortgage notes, it's stacking season. They're stacking cash. They're looking to get access to credit. However, so they can be able to take advantage of those opportunities. And I understand that may rub some people the wrong way, taking an advantage. But understand, if you live in this country, you truly do have a choice. When I think about the landscape that we live in now, in terms of you can literally use your phone to do everything. Check email, you can watch TV, you can read books, you can listen to the books, you can get access to videos, you can get access to audios, podcasts, online learning, the whole nine, right from your phone. It is different from when I was a young girl 30 years ago, where a lot of things you didn't get exposed to. So like right now, I'm having this conversation and I'm talking about real estate notes. And I know that there's people who have never been exposed to that conversation. They have no idea that there's a space in real estate where you can actually buy the paper. Buy the paper backed by an asset, which is real estate, and you receive passive income. This is not really a video to really talk about the logistics of real estate notes, but it's more of a video of the opportunities that are available. Like, now is not the time to have bad credit, to not understand how to get access to credit, to not understand how to leverage credit, to not have access to cash, because it's literally stacking season. And the next 10 years will determine those who know what's going on and those who have no idea. And if you're that person who owns a smartphone or have access to a smartphone, now is the time to plug into some source. I'm not even going to say you need to plug into what I have going on, but plug into something whereas you don't get caught up into the doom and gloom of what's going on. Because the conversation of federal moratoriums, whether it's for tenants, whether it's homeowners, is a very doom and gloom conversation. No disrespect to that situation. But also understand that there's a whole nother opportunity where people are literally It's like that little meme on social media, or that GIF where you got Birdman, a rapper, rubbing his hands together, like waiting for an opportunity. That's literally what's going on now. And the reason why I think this conversation is definitely pivotal, because on this channel I talk a lot about personal credit, business credit, the ability to leverage. And when I have consults or conversations with people, it amazes me that people literally think that I'm supposed to convince them that it is possible to get access to credit where you don't have to do all the, I have to say, distractions that will never get you to the money, the Dun and Bradstreet, the paydex scores, all that other stuff. And I understand that the business credit industry is so absorbed by that people literally think that's the way. Like, and don't get me wrong, there's 100 ways to skin a cat. That's just one way, but you best to believe it's a slow way. And so with opportunities coming down the line, you need to have a faster way than you spending 2 or 3 years building up trade lines that will never get you access to cash and credit, and try to look at something different. I'm just saying, because in the next 10 years, people are going to be financially crushed, or they're going to financially prosper. And it's all going to be decided on the access of information that people get. Thank you, Claude. So that's why when I do a consultation, I'm not, and if anyone has ever had the opportunity to talk to me for my free consultations, I do not spend the time convincing people. Whenever a person wants to talk about, should I do this program or should I do your program, my answer is always going to be, go with the other program. Go with the other program. Go with the other program. Because I understand that the level of information a person can get access to with just being in my circle can transform their financial life. Because most of the stuff out there is really, and I'm going to do a video on that, is really keeping people away from the target. Like, literally. No shade. But some people will never get to the target. And that's real talk. And so what happens is that the reason why so many people will never get to the target, and then they know they're nowhere near the target, and then what happens is they become bitter, and they think the target doesn't exist. That's it. That's really it. So that's why this is stacking season, man. It's a stacking season. Like I tell people, the prize is not getting access to the credit and the money. Don't get me wrong, that's a great reward. But it's actually, the information is the skill set that can transform your life forever. And when I think about me getting exposure to real estate notes, it's because another opportunity came my way, which allowed me to come, that live in the state of New Jersey, fly all the way to California, Orange County, all the way on the other side of the country, and get access to information that wasn't within my circle. Nobody was really talking about it in my circle. And if I hadn't made that investment in myself, you know, I would probably be like a lot of people, shooting at a false target. And I'm not here to say my way is the only way, but it's a darn bit faster than what most people are plugged into. But I'm already at 15 minutes, not going to hold you. Just wanted to give you an observation, much different than what I primarily talk about on this channel. But it's stacking season, man. Stacking season. Because on the other side of doom and gloom, there's a prosperous conversation going on. And a lot of times, those conversations may not be from people who look like me, if you know what I mean, come from where I come from. But we live in a time and place that now the access is there. You just got to be in position. You want to have a conversation, free consult, go to www.helpmegetbizcredit.com. Understand this is a free 30-minute consultation. It is not a convincing session. It's really to have a conversation to see if you and I are, are a good fit of working together, because I keep my circle selective. I'm not cheap to work with. So I'm not selling a 97, thank you, Claude. So I'm not selling a $97 course or $197 class. There's an investment that has to be made, and everything is relative. So once again, this is Lorelia, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.